Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Snow White's emissions, her gas emissions.
right. And we're not talking about, did you say earlier, we're not talking about dwarfs farting?
We're not talking about dwarves farting, no.
No, so this is where we come to. Everybody's so wanting to slam on Snow White, deservedly so. But we've come to a point now where they've already covered everything. So now we're going to talk about how Snow White film had a carbon emissions problem.
Yeah, so that's where we're at, guys. And this is coming from, this is what, come from The Guardian? So this isn't even YouTubers, guys. This is coming from The Guardian. She's a gassy girl. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it before we get into it. Any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
All right, so walk me through the situation.
I'm just dumbfounded about how this is where we come to, right? Like you said, we don't hear anything else about YouTubers again, because when they ran out of things to complain about with Snow White, they're going towards her carbon emissions. So according to The Guardian, they did Snow White Pinewood Studios like they did Little Mermaid and every other movie under the sun for live action films because they get up to 25.5% reimbursement from the government. As such, you have to report your carbon emissions because it's in the UK. Okay. So because of that, that's how The Guardian got hold of this. And I guess they started to do other things, like they were trying to use, some batteries and stuff. But for the most part, they were using portable generators and fuel and stuff like that, which led to their carbon emission numbers.
Well, I mean, look, at least it's not slave labor like Disney usually uses to, you know what I'm saying?
No, to say that. It's, unpaid labor, low paid labor.
Low paid labor, yeah.
So how they basically measure it in tons carbon dioxide emissions. Okay, that's what the TCO2e ends up being. Okay. So Snow White generated about 3,153 tons of carbon dioxide. The minimum, or what they usually say is about average for these, if you go up a little teeny bit, was that it is 2,600 is the usual like tentpole movie baseline that they're arguing with, okay?
All right.
So she did 3,153. However, I want to point out, they mentioned Little Mermaid, though, did 5,127 tons of carbon dioxide emissions.
So Little Mermaid is gassier than Snow White. Right.
The 2 times what the average is. And then they said between the two, it generated 8,279.6 tons, which The Guardian says is more than the 7,829 tons that Birmingham Airport produced in 23 to 24. So their 2 films caused more carbon emissions than one of the airports did.
That's crazy. Yeah, it makes you wonder what they're doing, because I mean a lot of this stuff is CGI now too.
Yeah, so you're going to have more. If people are going to argue the blockchain and all that crap, well, that's going to be on that.
Just like an NFT.
I'm just saying they're mad about NFTs, but then they're like, it's okay. The Little Mermaid's great.
I love this. The movie doesn't just suck; she blows. Carbon emissions.
That's
carbon emissions. So let's go out to the original article here and see if we can find. I just can't believe that this is what we're going for now, right?
This is where we're at right now. Like, I mean, it's hilarious because the hate is so strong that now they're just like looking for things to be mad about, including carbon emissions. So now, if it's not bad enough that Rachel Zegler said the stuff she said, which she's far left, so she be wanting to watch her carbon emissions. And, every time she opens her mouth, there's emissions. And we had like all this stuff at Disney. Oh, then I'm sure the fire didn't help their emissions output, but I don't think they counted that in there. I know, and everything else. There's so many things wrong with this. No one wanted the live action remake, et cetera, et cetera. And now on top of it, the talking point is her carbon emissions were terrible.
I think this is funny, though. They said the film's theme of being at one with nature seems not to have extended to the real-life environment, with company documents showing the making of Snow White generated more greenhouse gas emissions in the UK than the latest Fast and the Furious film, despite the latter's reliance on an array of gas-guzzling cars.
Well, it's okay, because Disney said that when they were doing their filming, they used electric cars on Snow White, and they made sure they only took chartered flights when they could move the whole crew at once, because it was less emissions than a commercial flight.
I bet the evil queen rolls up in a Tesla
You're not
It's
allowed to sell it or carve swastikas in it, one or the other.
Oh God. Yeah. So this is kind of, I mean, this is just wild. I guess that they're doing this whole article on this, but I mean, it just shows that like this is where we're at, guys. I mean, this is the thing, and we were doing it before it was cool, but any bad news about Disney makes headlines. People actively are rooting for Disney to fail, and it's not just the right-wing chuds on YouTube. It's like the entire world is actively rooting for Disney to fail. I don't know if it's because they just want, to laugh at Disney, or they want Disney. A lot of us want Disney to get better, but I think you feel very jaded because so many people are so much of a diehard Disney fans.
And pixie dusters. And then you just see the stupid stuff Disney does again and again and again. This movie was kind of the perfect storm, I think, of everything modern day Disney is doing wrong, all in one place. It is. And it's like they will not stop with the live action remakes. And here's what gets me. The Little Mermaid, I kind of can understand it because it's a lot of CG, CGI and stuff like that. They have to go out in the water and stuff like that. So I can see why they'd have to have a lot of like boats and stuff that you'd need fuel for. This was mostly done in the woods.
They did it in the woods.
I'm just saying. It's in a castle.
It
It's in a cottage set and in the woods. It's not like exactly I would think would need tons and tons of, no pun intended, of fuel and generators for maybe in the woods, but not like the cottage scenes and the set scenes. And again, we know the cottage was a set because it caught on fire.
Yeah, I know, right? That was God's way of saying you need to burn this movie down. But
people get mad when you say that. But
I'm sorry. It was like all the signs were there. That's what I don't understand. Like all the signs were there for years. Like this is a bad idea. Bad idea, Disney. Bad idea. So now they're looking at, I think I read the minimum they're going to lose on this movie is like $170 million.
Oh, it's getting more than that because
that's the minimum.
They were saying now about the budget, it was like the 270 million they figured, and then another 140 million or so on advertising, something like that. And here's the thing: so we have 270 and 140, so that's like 400 and some million dollars, right? It would still need to be like say 450 million to break even. Okay, that would be what it would be.
Yeah,
and it's making it's like 100. It's not even 150 now. I don't think, or 175 or whatever. I don't even remember what it is. It's less, way less than Minecraft.
Yeah, it's way low. And yeah, Minecraft, just whatever hope it had of scraping some extra cash, Minecraft just completely destroyed it. I mean,
I think it's going to take I think it's going to take 250 million at least. That's going to be a loss.
I mean, they're like, look, they'll run it on Disney Plus, they'll whatever, but like they don't have this. Is the thing too about Disney is so like they don't have the home video sales like they used to. For years, Disney, a big part of their the way they recoup their budget, even on movies that were kind of failures at the box office, is people would buy the VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray versions. Nobody's doing that now.
No, because it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Which is another reason, like when you have a crappy movie like this, they don't go to theater to see it because they know if I just wait, it'll be on Disney Plus.
Yeah. So there we go, guys. Snow White is a gas. She's
a gassy girl. Yeah, lots of emissions apparently, and not the kind of emissions that are fun. So, but not as bad as Little Mermaid. Not as bad as Little Mermaid though. So there's that. But Little Mermaid at least kind of broke even.
Yeah, Little Mermaid did okay. It still lost money. I mean,
it didn't lose money, but it didn't make much. It was only like $50-some million. Oh,
that's right. I remember there. Yeah, that's right. You're, it all blurs together. But
it does really.
Look, haters. Little Mermaid made a little bit of money. Bigots. Yeah,
no, right?
But everybody's just like slamming on this thing. It's over. Like, stop. I mean, they canceled Tangled. Just stop the live action.
But
then Lilo and Stitch is gonna come along. Lilo and Stitch is going to come along. It's going to make a bunch of money, and they're going to be like, let's fire up the remake machine again.
Well, I don't know because they're already canceling like Rapunzel and stuff. So their maybe takeaway is we can't do Disney princess movies. We can still do Hercules and all that crap, And I just don't think it's going to go. Some movies I think are more inclined to work in live action than others. And Bambi for sure ain't it. But here we are.
God, I can't wait for... Are they still doing that Bambi movie?
So far, they haven't announced they canceled it. The only one they've announced that's been, kind of, on hold is Rapunzel.
I think they need to make Bambi a musical featuring furries.
Like, okay, you know what? If they did that though, people might go.
So that I would, it would be an absolute train wreck, but I would go see Bambi the musical with furries.
So they have the hunters singing mucking at somebody taking a shot.
Oh my God, Lin-Manuel Miranda does the music. I'd go see it. I'd go see that before I go see Snow White. So we're gonna wrap this up. Let's wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.